find the solution of the given initial value problem. So we have a non-homogeneous differential equation. Right hand side has a function of t and two initial conditions to determine the constants C1 and C2. To solve this non-homogeneous ODE, we first consider the corresponding homogeneous ODE. Just make right hand side 0. So y double prime plus 4y equals 0, and we solve this equation. For we find the characteristic equation, which is r squared plus 4 equals 0. Solve for r plus minus 2i. So based on plus minus 2i, we have two solutions. That's cosine 2t and sine 2t. And their linear combination will be the complementary solution for this non-homogeneous. So YC complementary solution will be C1 first solution plus C2 second solution. Next, we need to find a particular solution that's based on the right hand side. And once we find the particular solution, the sum of complementary and particular will be the total solution, the full solution for this. Then later we find the values of C1 and C2 using these two initial conditions. Okay, so let's look at the right hand side here. We got 3 cosine 2t. So cosine, I mean we can ignore the constant cosine. So whenever we have non-homogeneous cosine, then we have to write down a linear combination of sine and cosine, because cosine comes from sine when we differentiate. So cosine 2t, so we write cosine, same angle, and sine. Linear combination, so A cosine plus B sine. But cosine is already a solution. Okay, cosine and sine are already solutions. So we just multiply whole thing by t, which is same as multiply by t here and multiply by t. So this is the form of a particular solution. Now we find y prime. We have to use product rule here. Here we find second derivative, and we plug these into this equation, okay, and find the values of a and b. Then yc plus yp will be the solution, and later we find c1 and c2 using these conditions. So let me find the derivatives and plug in here. So we found the derivative of y using product rule here, and find y prime as well here. And now we plug these into the original ordinary differential equation. That's y double prime, that's here, this is y double prime. I combined negative 2a sine 2t, negative 2a sine 2t here, similarly 2b cosine 2t here, and remaining, that's y double prime plus 4y, so 4 times y. So we multiplied this by 4, and here equals 3 cosine 2t. Let's look at the left hand side now. We have negative 480 cosine plus 480 cosine cancel, negative positive cancel. Okay, so sine 2t, negative 4a sine 2t plus 4b cosine 2t. We have 3 cosine 2t. There is no sine, that means we can always write 0 sine 2t. And equating the coefficients, we should have cosine 2t 3, cosine 2t 4b. So 4b is equal to 3, and negative 4a is equal to 0. Okay, so this implies negative 4a, that's 0, and 4b equals 3. So divide by negative 4, a is 0 and b is 3/4. Now we plug a and b here. This is our particular solution. Okay, then a particular solution yp is a is 0, so b, that's 3/4 t sine 2t. Now the sum of yp and yc here, this is yc, and yp is the general solution. Okay, thus y is yc plus yp, that is y equals c1 cosine 2t plus C2 sine 2t, that's the complementary part, plus yp is found here, plus 3/4 t sine 2t. Now using the initial conditions, we find C1 and C2. Look at the initial conditions. They are y at 0 equals 2 and y prime at 0 equals -1. So there is y prime. So let's find the derivative here. So y prime is, by the way, cosine negative 2c1 sine 2t plus 2c2 cosine 2t. We need to use product rule here, plus 3/4 sine 2t. That's the 2 cosine 2t, 2 and 4 cancel, so this is 3/2 t cosine 2t. So using the first initial condition, using y at 0 equals 2, we get, so here, by the way, we need to use here y. So 2 equals cosine 0 is 1, so this is C1, sine 0 is 0, so this is gone, plus 3/4 times 0, this is gone, so C1 is 2. Similarly, using the second initial condition, y prime 0 equals -1, we get, so we use here y prime is now -1 when t is 0, sine here is 0, so this is gone, cosine 0 is 1, so 2c2 plus 3/4 sine 0, that's 0, and 3/2 times 0, this is 0, so -1 equals 2c2, or divide by 2, c2 equals -1/2. Now we plug c1 in c2 and find the solution. So hence, so our solution is given here. Okay, c1 and c2 are just found. So y is c1 2 cosine 2t plus c2 is -1/2 sine 2t, and a particular solution was found 3/4 t sine 2t. Okay, final.